did this offlane and they were just kind of stuck there. But in the same thing, like the core that he's with didn't have kill potential. Like what if this was like a Slardar or something like that, you know? Like then they could have killed somebody, but because it was a Legion commander, they can only right click and their opponents basically have the ability to outplay, I feel. So it's not really the best situation. I really don't think he has a whole lot of fallback unless he like, and he can't like go gank mid or something. Like what are you going to do with Magnus Wisp against the Quap? There just aren't good solutions. He has to go back to the offlane, and he also doesn't have the gold to continuously funnel sentries there to keep himself safe because his opponents are just going to counter ward them. So because they have more gold because they're winning.
Yep.
So he's just in a really bad situation, and there's not a huge amount he can do about it.
You said, man, they drafted themselves into that type of corner. They had to be expecting it. So, okay, so what do you think about this build over on the PL? Like, to go for such an early Vladimir's offering on him, as opposed to going something more like Aquila, drums into Diffuser Blade, what's the purpose of this Vlads?
The best thing about the Vlads is that you basically just jungle nonstop. And you don't have to worry about HP, because there aren't really a lot of items that you want to buy in PL that keep your sustain up in the jungle. You don't want to buy a lifesteal item usually. You don't want to buy a bottle too much. Like, you can, but it's not as good. Vlad's is going to scale pretty nicely, and it's going to keep your team strong until
Dendi
split push. But
starts the RP over on Weeha. These familiars of Poppy, though, are chasing after it and really inflicting a lot of damage, especially when Weeha has a Sonic Wave available. Dendi, well, the familiars drop, but they're a little bit too far away. Navi was coming in for the kill secure with the Mana Void, but unable to achieve it. And Dendi still hasn't left yet. Is he waiting for the... Okay. He's waiting for someone to TP forward so he can bottle regen, but Seneko is actually not TPing. He's making Dendi walk back to base.
He can't afford to just TP for a bottle at this point. He's too far behind to sacrifice himself for his mid. I don't really blame him, but I don't see how they're going to get a kill on that Quap. There just wasn't enough damage there. They needed a third. That would have been a great time for a relocate, for example. They would have gotten that duel off, but because they had such a bad early game, it's just too tough.
And line's going to get so much harder now for Navi. Track is up. We have a level 6 bounty hunter. He's actually TPing back to join Puppy, so it looks like we're going to see one of our first smoke ganks now from Team Secret. With Arcane Boots over on Pile Die. So it answers our question about who is going to be building into that mech. Now, after such a great start, the Pile Die can build into it next.
Yeah, it's pretty much always your bounty pickup. You can afford it so much better than a Visage can. You just have to track people, and all of a sudden you have a mech.
That was just the question when you have both Puppy and Pile Die that need a lot of money. So Paladai comes up, you'll see a couple of illusions, and now understands which one's the real Havost, and they just get all around him, and he'll be able to doppelganger himself away, and actually Paladai so smart, he didn't track at the start realizing doppelganger would happen, so they do get the bonus money.
That was really nicely done, and they just had to figure out which one is real, and very, very easy kill there. They've got good ward vision too on the Radiant team. They put one in the lane and they put one at the top rune, or the bottom rune spot, but with the smoke through and the bounty to scout things out, there's just not a whole lot you can do. It's tough for them.
This is actually when maybe Navi should take a leaf out of the book of the Chinese, because their warding is actually a lot more similar to what Secret have been doing. So you check the vision of Team Secret. Their dire observer wards see deep inside the Radiant jungle. They see behind the tier 1 tower, and then you'll know if someone's going to be farming up in the mid. So you can work out from there exactly where Navi is going to be moving. Where Navi's ward is a very defensive one on top lane, in case Secret attack, but you never get any kind of early warning situation. And the two which are on bottom are normally, like, they're the very basic wards. So Secret will always be able to smoke around that.
Yes, but I feel like that's a circumstance of how the game is going and the heroes that they have. Like, Secret is much stronger at ganking right now because they don't need major items, and because the Wisp was so far behind, like, they can't really go aggressive yet. If Navi got ahead early, then yeah, they would place aggressive wards, and they would be looking for relocate ganks and cool stuff like that, but they just can't do it because they're losing. And they will eventually try to attempt that, but it's just going to take a while.
I just know how you get around this.
This could be a kill.
Yeah, they have the sentry warp. They have to RP just to hold Pilot Die here. And this is good for Funnick. It's extra damage. It's a dual win. And it's a pick off on a bounty hunter. It's not worth as much because he is the lowest net worth of Team Secret, but still it's something.
Yeah, that was really good. They did that well. Then you saw him and he reacted perfectly. He even did the turn RP, so it didn't waste any time at all. Got him a little bit closer to Funnick, just in case. So boom, 10 damage to Funnick now. He's getting closer to his own Blink Dagger, and the games could definitely get online here.
Yeah, because then Funnick doesn't always require friends or something like a full RP committal to take over. And because he's got the impound buff up, his damage is quite good. In fact, Eternal Envy doesn't want to stick around for this. Pings out the fact that they're all through their jungle. And maybe now Secret consider more defensive wards across the top area of the map.
They may have to, definitely, because if they close off their jungle and they easily have control of the enemy jungle, then it's going to really limit Hovost's farm. He's got the hardest time in this game right now, because as soon as you lose your tier 1 bottom, it just becomes almost impossible to defend it. They tried to, but they still got kills off. And he's getting very close to his Diffusal Blade at least. And oh man, he's got 4 levels of empowerment already. This is like so much. This is going to help his farm by a lot. He definitely can still farm and catch up this way.
And then we get to see what he uses his farm for. I'm loving Denny with this Blink as well as Arcane Bruise, already looking for another kill. Even though he doesn't have the RP up, they're trying to find an opening. And what can Bounty Hunter really do? Like, he tracks up on someone, and then you just press the attack, you get rid of it. It's actually going to be one of the hardest... Oh, that hook shot right in front of Dendy. The track will allow for that little bit of a extra bonus movement speed. They have a stun, they have Battery Assault, they have Cogs to push him back. That's an entire team of Secret coming in to kill off Dendy.
He didn't even need to do that. Like, he would have skewered, like, what, invisible bounty into the Legion Commander. Neither of them had dust. Neither of them had a sentry. He just wasted his escape and used his blink offensively just to do that. So that was just a poor choice by Dendy there.
Oh, now Hovos, the Sonic Wave. He's going to pop from this. The Orca damage should be enough. He's TPing back to base, but he will not make it. The Queen of Pain is there, and the track also got off before he was able to retreat. So yet again, another track kill for Pylai Die.
And a fast Orchid just puts Hovos further and further behind. He bought out some items before he died, but he's still about 800 gold away from finishing his Diffusal Blade. If he actually had that finished, he wouldn't have died there, because he could have removed the Orchid from himself and just doppelganged away very easily. So, unfortunate for him that he's behind, but good for Secret. They were able to pressure right.
They're starting again. He's got someone to Shuri Toss. The Shuri Toss will stop him from tethering over. But he had PSM just around the corner. There's that Blink Dagger you're asking for over on Funnick, but is it too late? Like, you're 2 for 12. Navi's got a very long road ahead of them if they're going to get back in this game.
Well, it's not horrible. If he gets empowered and they have like a little bit more damage, he can probably kill any hero in the game right now, even Anti-Mage, because it's all physical, obviously. So, and they've got level 6 on the Wisp, so they should just set something up right now. Very simple. Like, as soon as everybody's alive, go set up a gank. Dendy RP somebody and somebody dies. It's that simple.
That's the plan. Are they grouping up again? Looks like they are doing so. They're starting to farm up Ancients as Secret. They try and take over the Radiant jungle. I'm wondering too.
It's been theirs. It's been theirs for like 10 minutes at least.
True. Don't really take over something you already own. You just plant a deeper flag.
It's true.
And Pylai Die is going to just get himself out of here. They do still have that Dire Observer Ward there. And these 2 Radiant Sentries didn't find anything. But Navi, this is when the Vlads can start to work. I thought they're actually going to go for Roshan. Their Observer Ward sees Weeha as Funnick starts to press the attack, but they're going to kill Puppey. So it will be a dual victory. But somehow I feel like they wanted a lot more than just a Visage.
Oh, that was actually worth it. He had a mega kill streak.
Wait.
Yeah. That's how good Puppey was doing. Mega kill streak on him, so more damage to Legion Commander, and Wisp actually was the one to get that, so that's going to help out his items a lot.
Puppey hasn't gotten kills in ages, but those must have all been from the very, very start of the game. He just hasn't died since then.
It was all those Wisp kills, actually.
Yeah, true.
Back for it.
All 5 of them had to almost been him. And Navi going to try and push the situation down to the tier 1 tower. There's no fortification for Team Secret, so this tower will be forfeit. And there's more money coming in for Funnick. The trade-off is attempted by Secret, but it's a little bit too late. But Dendy is hoping he can at least catch up to Misery here. He'll have to RP if he's going to commit. The Relocate's coming in as well. They could potentially skewer, but then again, Weeha, the Sonic Wave to pop. Aya's already gone down, and Misery has trapped Dendy in long enough. He's had to skewer himself out of it, but Weeha picks up the Lina as well. Dendy starts his TP. There are no more stuns. The damage output! He dropped down to 80 life. Havors is charging in, trying to find more, and they start the duel on Weeha. This could be big. He buys the O Club, accepts his fate, and ends up dying. At the same time, the Radiant Courier ended up getting picked off. That had the Diffusal Blade.
Ooh.
It actually came into the fight exactly where they all died, and actually lost the Diffusal Blade of Havost.
I don't think they're too upset about that, though, honestly. They got so much out of it. Like, yeah, they lost the Wisp and they lost the Lina. I was a little surprised they didn't bring Legion. Legion's duel was like 2 seconds off cooldown. They should have just brought Legion, maybe. But they killed a lot of important heroes. They killed Queen of Pain. They killed Clockwork, I think, and got another duel off. It was not that bad for them, considering they're behind. I think they're going to be happy with that.
Bonus 38 damage on Legion Commander, considering the initial start. That's pretty damn good. And you take now the tier 1 tower. Navi looking pretty secure. Shadow Blade's going to be the build from the Legion Commander.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Against a bounty? Alright, well, I guess he can press the attack himself, so I guess he doesn't have to worry about it too much.
Track's only really been a problem for Navi after the fight's begun. Because the press the attack and Doppelganger is obviously the greatest removal ever. Like, there's no reason why any one of Navi should be continuously tracked up.
Yeah, that's true. So they'll be fine against it, I suppose. And let some solo gank as well. That's probably the more important part. That he can get duels off by himself. He doesn't have to rely on RP. He doesn't have to rely on other stuff.
These illusions are coming over. The secret trap is up. They realize, like, the solar crest is nice and quick over on Puppey, but it's just not enough. They're relocating in, and Puppey realizes his problem. He needs to actually Grave Chill and get out of here, accepts his fate, and Funnick gets another duel win. Now 52 bonus damage on this Legion Commander. They're going to go in for Roshan. And it looks like Secret are letting it happen. They're moving over towards the tier 1 tower.
Funnick can actually carry this game. Like, every damage he gets, it's also increased by 50% from Empower, so...
Oh, shot! Oh, Misery! He goes in for the fight! Roshan's going to be pushed back by the Cogs. Isolation's going to beat there. It's a nice Sonic Wave, and where's the extra damage? It wasn't enough. Not from the Mana Void, but Weeha. Roshan, he's still battling it out inside the pit. 4 heroes down for Navi. The 5th is up. It's any trying to TP out. The Familiars won't get there in time. The Scream cooldown will. Weeha takes a triple kill, and Secret will secure Roshan. That was not the way I saw that playing out in my mind.
Yeah, me neither. That was... I mean, they got the kill, but it was just a Visage, and he still had his Familiars there, so did they really lose that much? I think Navi just felt too strong about that. They're like, oh, we're winning, we're getting all these good kills, we have momentum, blah, 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 take the tower, or take the Roche. But it was just a Visage. Like, they don't lose that much by him not being there. The birds are still there. They got a great Sonic Wave that caught the 2 most important heroes that were in the Roche pit. And at that point, they were just kind of screwed. The other heroes are very easy to clean up by Anti-Mage or others. Like, E is so farmed this game. He's got Battle Fury Vlad's, he's got an Ultimate Orb, he's got Treads, and now he has an Aegis on top of that. So they were gaining a lot of ground, but they just couldn't take that fight with only a Visage being the one that got picked off, especially when they used Duel to get it.
Yeah, because they had no more control factors after that point apart from RP, but there was never a good moment. You're all inside the pit trying to finish off Roshan, and then caught out by Team Secret. Life has just become almost impossible for Navi. That advantage is now stretching down closer and closer towards that 10k mark. There's roughly about 8,500 to 9,000 in favor of Secret at the moment. But just the fact that Envy is at the point where he's finished a full Manta style, that's a mechanism as well for the bounty. It looks like top lane is a duel over on the Queen of Pain, so Weeha will drop. Funnick now up to 66 bonus damage on this hero.
That's good. You know what else hurt them a lot was that courier got sniped, so they didn't even have Diffusal Blade, which is about 3,000 gold of net worth. Like, think how much of a difference that is in a team fight. Basically means that PL only had a Vlad's. He was like as weak as a 12-minute, 13-minute PL instead of having the Diffusal Blade on top of it. So definitely hurt things, and they had more mana to fight and all that stuff.
Man, Misery, such great play. Starts with a rocket, follows up with a hook shot, and Seneko will drop. That was all Misery right there.
He's been doing really well transitioning back into offlane, considering he played support for like a very, very long time recently. Duel in set 6, actually. He's going to wait.
He might need a little bit of help, though. That lance from Vorst will drop it down. Starts with press the attack, and then Puppey. Well, Familiar drop 1, Familiar drop 2. They can't get any damage, and the Mana Void will arrive. Funnick and Vorst so low. The Cleave's doing its work, and they're going to lose both of them. This, even with the Shuriken toss, they go in deeper. Envy, the 4-star's going to be there from Dendy to try and save his captain, PSM. But they chase in even deeper. Envy needs another 2 attacks. That's 1. There's 2 by Dandy actually helping him, scurrying him closer towards the Lina. They go in underneath the tier 3 and actually underneath the tier 4 towers. They have to get out of here. Team Secret will come back for the tier 2 tower, but what a fight. In fact, did they just go back in again? Yep, they did. They went up to Seneko. A message has been sent by Secret. This is their first game back, and it is one hell of a fight for them.
No kidding. I feel like that was more Navi's mistakes than Secret playing well there. They just tried to kill the Visage, who has 1,300 HP and a Solar Crest. They missed so many times, and they didn't even min-max their damage either. Legion Commander didn't hit the Shadow Blade first. He casted Press the Attack, and then he attacked. But if he would have hit with Shadow Blade first, they would have had a slightly better chance to get the kill. But the Bird Stuns just interrupted everything, and there's no damage.
And what are you even meant to do from this point? Avors isn't ready to fight. Clockwork, Hookshot's coming off cooldown in a moment. Funnick looking to try and grab someone. but no one's really close enough for him. Jumps forward after the birds, but Puppey, they grave chill. He presses the attack to get rid of that track, but the soul assumption damage not really that high up from Puppey. The birds are back in, but Nemweha hits a great sonic wave. Funnick is just so low. Envy can really capitalize, but it's the Queen of Pain to find the kill, and even Misery is killing off the Phantom Lancer. Havor's had so much around him, but they've lost their bottom ranks. The only thing that will stop Secret right now is the fact that the tier 2 towers are still up in both the other lanes.
Ugh. Like, Navi's just not ready to take a team fight yet, because the only way they can win a fight is if they get a big RP. That's pretty much it. They need RP into, like, Lena damage, into cleaved right clicks from either PL or Legion, and they're not getting those. Like, they were looking so good around the Roche pit, they needed, like, another 5 to 10 minutes of solo picks around the map, and then they would have been ready to team fight. But they just didn't get that advantage, and they threw that Roche fight, and now they're in a place where they can't win unless they get a big RP. So as long as Secret spreads out a little bit, there's almost no way that they can lose if they just play standard from here on out, just because they can also solo gank very well. And Anti-Mage as well as Queen of Pain are transitioning to just solo killers. So now things get really tough.
Yeah. 20,000, 23,000 on the net worth. This is just... The momentum is just something that even when you have bonus 66 damage on the Legion Commander, it's not the full devil situation, but he really needs something amazing. They don't have a gem. In fact, it's Pile Die who's walking around with this gem. So he ends up tracking up the Legion Commander as to press the attack it off. They just wanted a quick pick anywhere they could find one. It doesn't exist. Secret will keep this pressure on.
They have a smoke they could use, I guess, but there's observer wards where they're standing, so they'd have to back.
Yeah. I don't think they really even care about smoke. Like, when you're this far ahead, I don't know if that... Where's that courier? Okay, it doesn't have the rest of the heart for Envy on it, but Envy's walking around with a Reaver and a Vit booster. But this is one insanely tanky anti-mage that's going to be able to survive through anything that Navi throw at him. And you've got the Aghanims upgrade fully over on Puppey, so 3 full familiars. Weehar's already got his own Aghanim Scepter, so he's looking great. And you got the Blink Dagger plus Mech over on the Bounty Hunter. You give him another good fight, and the game's probably over with another good fight, but he'll have Greaves as well then.
Yeah, it's very tough. I really like the Clockwork and Bounty synergy. It's kind of cool. Even if they remove all the tracks, you can always just get Vision with Rocket Flare and they can track again. So they pretty much always know where Navi is. And if the tracks are up, then they can't really smoke. And that's pretty much the only way they're going to be able to do anything here. Havos kind of by himself.
Yep. Misery was looking for the hookshot initially, but Envy. Whoops. Caught in the trees for a moment. Only a moment, though. Considering he's playing with 300 ping, I think he's okay. But this tier 2 tower now belongs to Team Secret. Nothing stops them from taking the rest of the racks, and the bottom lane still continues to pressure in. Navi do have good clear because they have that Empower buff up, but beyond that, it's
not looking good.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely looking rough to say the least. And
it's pretty tough for PL
can wait.
beat. I was gonna say it's tough for PL to beat Anti-Mage in the first place. Now that he's behind, it just gets even harder.
Their abilities are gonna, like, okay. I'm looking right now at already a full Lincoln Sphere done. So
Good luck dueling.
They have Lincoln Sphere on the Quap. They have a heart over on the Anti-Mage. The Bounty Hunter still has 760 gold. But it was the money on the Clockwork after picking up an Ultimate Orb. I'm wondering if this is Misery thinking, you know what, I'll just go into a Scythe Device. That way the PL can't escape when I initiate in once we find the real one. Or he could also just go a Lincoln Sphere, and then Legion Commander does nothing. He can't start a duel.
They actually have really poor options to deal with the Lincolns this game. It's basically Laguna Blade, PL Lance, Diffusal Blade, and Force Staff, I guess, on Dundee. There's really not a lot of good solutions there. The best one is Spirit Lance or Diffusal Blade, but everything else is not a good solution. So Lincolns are actually amazing this game. Either a Lincolns or a Hex on him would be great, I think.
Well, I still don't think he's going to have enough time to get to both. Because Team Secret, they're preparing to come in. They have to keep pressing the attack to get rid of these tracks, which keep coming in too. And Team Secret can just split this up. Like Pile Die can push in the bottom. In fact, you've got Misery going top. Both are able to quickly rotate over. And the rest, the brunt of their force is ready to push down the mid.
They'll just wait till next Roshan, most likely. Put the Aegis on Maternal Envy or somebody else, maybe. And keep Navi in their base. They'll only get 2 or 3 creep waves. The bot lane is not a whole lot of farm.
It's a really short spawn time on Roshan too. Are they actually... Okay, yep. Clockwork going to get caught out by the Legion Commander. They moved up with a relocate, but PSM, Snako can take him back in about 5 seconds, but then again, he won't survive 5 seconds. PSM, solo, they're going in deeper. Then he's on a half-life. They get the track over on a horse. He's got Doppelganger to get away, however. But Envy is making the most out of this. They attack into the tier 3 tower. The bottom lane's already pushed in, hence no more backdoor regeneration, and they burn the fortification here. Clockwork, the only one to go down. And Envy's just too tanky, because he's got every ability to disengage. When those familiars are there, they all drop down at the same time, so the stuns are available. And Dendy, well, he came up. I don't know if he was looking for an RP.
He tried to skewer, but it was like a point-blank skewer. I think he misclicked or something, because he could have brought Puppy back towards their building, and they might have been able to get him, but small mistake from him.
Well, Team Secret at least. They had the upside. Roshan spawned up really quickly. He was 30 seconds out of the potential 3 minutes to spawn. And Envy could just blink over and do this himself. Like, he can actually just solo Roshan if he wants to.
Pressure with the other 4 heroes. They definitely can. I mean, they got a tower to that. They obviously did get a duel and stuff, but that's pretty much all Navi can do right now, is they move out and they get duels. And with the duels, they try to get another item. BKB up on Legion Commander, so he's transitioning slightly, but the BKB doesn't do that much this game, honestly. Quap still does most of the damage through that.
With the level 3 ulti and Animage is still pumping out the good physical damage. Even Weeha's had some really good physical damage of his own. He's got a casual plate mail for now. It'll turn into a Shiva's Guard later on. Or if they're really focused on taking down buildings, maybe he just looks for the Assault Cuirass. But the Shivas makes sense. And a Butterfly build coming in for Eternal Envy. He starts with the Eagle Song.
Yeah, that's the point basically where NPL doesn't do anything anymore. Once he has all that evasion, he just hits the illusions and they won't even hit him most of the time.
Yep.
Maybe not most, but I think AC is going to be the build on Quap here, to be honest. Like, obviously Shivas is very good, but AC on Quap is just going to help a lot towards killing tanky heroes like Legion Commander. You can right-click a lot harder as well. It's pretty common on Quap nowadays. I like it a lot.
Dandy gets a skewer over on Anti-Mage, but
Phonic
also starts the duel, but it was on an illusion. The Sonic Wave will connect. They've lost 2 in a blink of an eye. Sonako's about to go down as well. The relocate actually is the only thing that will save him here. And they try and turn around, but Secret are back to objective-based gaming. They're taking out the range racks. They can't duel onto Anti-Mage, 1, because duel's on cooldown, and 2, he's protected by Linkers. So not even a PL illusion to make life a little bit more difficult for him. And that is GG. Rightly so. 31-9, Team Secret. They were pressured by a Legion off-lane with a Wisp, and the pressure was not enough.
They just needed those early skirmishes, or more like the early to mid-game skirmishes go slightly better. They definitely could have came back in this game, but they needed to poke and prod more around Roshan and not be greedy about it. They needed a more important hero to kill before they could feel comfortable taking Roshan. Once they lost that fight, the game was extremely hard, and then a couple more fights lost and the game was pretty much just over. So you can't go that one-sided against a bounty hunter. You just have to pick perfect fights, and I like the draft a lot out of Navi, but the duel offlane just wasn't viable enough. It didn't get enough done, and their mid-game team fights just weren't good enough.
I agree, man, and it's going to be a pretty rough run now for them, as we're going to go to a short break, but don't fear, we will be back for more WCA action. This is only really the start of the whole competition. You get to watch the grid as we wait for our next game, but either way, great Dota coming your way for WCA. Only the European qualifier, the main event, will still happen down in China later on this year, so keep your eyes peeled for all those details, and we'll see you back here after this break.
Queen of Pain.
Sniper here. Time for target practice.
fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
You're not going anywhere.
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
they went with that Legion Commander. Like, when you get yourself in that position, you see it going down. Like, I thought then maybe you'd go in for something like a Bristleback off lane, which is a little bit more stable in a way. It's not heavily reliant on winning duels with that kind of jazz. But it could have just been their answer as well to the whole, like, bounty hunter kind of situation too, so...
Like, Bristleback would have laned better than Legion, definitely, but the mid game would have been much worse. Like, how many dual kills did he get? He actually got quite a few. And there were so many squirrely, evasive heroes on Navi last game that they needed something to lock down in the mid game and to set up guarantee kills on, like, anti-mage and stuff. Bristleback is mostly just tank damage. And depending on how you build him, he can be more of either. So Bristol would have been better in lane, like you said, but it's not going to be as good late game, so they couldn't have picked him last game. So they were just kind of forced into something that had semi-carry potential and would transition while getting ganks off, and Legion was maybe the pick. So, but they don't have to go with that this game. Secret still gets a lot of really good heroes in the meta. Dazzle, Clockwork, Queen of Pain, you could argue they're easily probably least second best out of all the heroes in the current meta at their roles. Dazzle can do a lot of things. Darkseer is going to be pretty good here. Maybe not tons of synergy with Gyrocopter or Shaker because Iron Shell's not as usable. So maybe that's going to be the weakness with their draft tiers, that they don't have a natural like Iron Shell and Go character. But
well, this seems like a familiar story.
Yeah,
This seems like a very, very familiar story with the anti-mage. And with the Clockwork, like the only thing they've changed up right now is by having the Dazzle in the pool. And this actually makes life even harder for Navi's safe lane, because Dazzle and Clockwork, like, if Clock is having trouble, like, if Misery does have trouble and asks for help, the Dazzle can just rotate up there. Because on the bottom lane, in fact, the Dazzle even repairs the need for animation to burn through a lot of consumables when the Iron Shells work. This game just feels like a pick of comforts for PSM. It's like, well, okay, guys, like, last game didn't really work out. Of course, you have Gyrocopter. Funnick, you love your Darkseer. You go on that. Snako and I, we got the Earthshaker and the Rubik. And then we just needed something for Dendy. And that's probably the reason why you see Puppy's bans. He takes out the SF, and he takes out the Wyvern. Snako, I still kind of feel like it wasn't single-handedly, but he was one of the hugest factors for Navi during the TI5 qualifiers to push them through on the back of that Wyvern. And Dendy is legendary for his SF play. So now Navi going to go a little bit outside the box. They're going to take the Bloodseeker out, Puppy.
like that.
Just good up against the Cop in the AM.
And with Darkseer in the game, he usually lowers the HP of everybody. So having Bloodseeker on the same team as Darkseer can usually give you big advantages. And Iron Shell and Bloodseeker is amazing in the early mid game for a bit of extra damage. So would have been a natural pick there. So it's looking a little weird for Navi. Anti-Mage is decent against Soul and against Darkseer because he can drain his mana. And he's also got Spell Shield to resist some of the Iron Shell damage. But Rubik is good against Clockwork, can stop him from having a one-on-one with the cogs. So he can save heroes like Earthshaker and help zone him a little bit, because they definitely needed a support that could zone Clock. If they pick Darkseer, they need a ranged support. So they were kind of forced into that one. And Rubik's actually quite good with Quap and Anti-Mage in the game because he can steal either Blink.
Darkseer gets a good start. Maybe you can get that earlier mech and transition into a Blink Dagger of your own so you can be the ones to initiate as opposed to counter initiation. So Navi can play their style of game. Because they
Squishy.
Yeah, and that's where the rest of the Navi team have to kick in. But they've got good combos for this. Like, if you do get some farm on the ES with a Blink Dagger or Darkseer gets a good start, maybe you can get that earlier mech and transition into a Blink Dagger of your own so you can be the ones to initiate as opposed to counter initiation. So Navi can play their style of game. Because they're going to need to eventually, because you know what Eternal Envy's going to do. Farm, move around and farm. Like, that's the plan. So Navi needs something that can track him down. And currently, I'm not seeing that. Like, all they can do is force him to come into the fights by pushing towers. That's the only other thing you could do with this lineup. But that means you need to run something like, what, a Pugna in the mid and force a push?
Whoa, you are jumping to way too big of conclusions right now.
I know.
Why would you say like, oh, they should just play Pugna mid when you could just be like, maybe they'll get somebody that has disables or something like
Crazy talk, man. Crazy talk. I'm thinking about pushing. But it's also because I had a Pugna mid yesterday. And it was very, very successful. And it was actually in a very similar situation to this, where you're really worried about the high level of farm and you wanted to force something out. And it was Pugna versus Quap, I think, actually. Okay. No, it was Pugna versus Lena. It was Pugna versus some of the Intel nuke heroes that was in the mid. And it was really, really effective. There was no way to fight.
Sounds okay for the mid hero, but Navi in this game, at least, they have a pretty bad push lineup. None of their heroes are particularly good at killing or pushing, other than maybe Gyro.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be Pugna.
Yes, I agree
almost
with
feel
you.
like it has to be a melee, but they don't. Like they just don't have super good synergy with their heroes. Darkseer is going to help. Like he'll be fine in his lane, but there's going to be very little Iron Shell synergy other than with Gyrocopter, who's okay
You
at
go
it.
for something like a DK then. If you want to have a melee hero that can have some push but still team fight, and it has gank potential if you get the Blink Dagger.
I feel like that would leave them. They need something early game, so maybe DK's okay because too many of their heroes are not good until later. Or Shaker needs Blink to be really good. Gyro's okay once he gets BKB. Darkseer is going to want a mech, and Rubik is a little bit weak on his support until he gets a mobility item as well. I don't know. I really don't know what Navi's going to pick here. It's going to be tough. PL, okay, so Rubik mid? Or Dendy's going to play PL mid? Man, there's some weird drafting going on, man. That's all I can say.
Okay.
All right, you can dodge things with Doppelganger. You can dodge daggers. You can remove the dagger from yourself. It's actually not bad. Now that I think about it.
The only issue is going to be if Dazzle comes up and tries to force you out of lane, or even Keeper of the Light. With an early mana leak, you could just drain everything out of that PL, or Illuminate spam him down. It's like mana leak's actually perfect up against both Darkseer as well as PL in the early stages.
PL can doppelgang and not take the mana burn while he moves over. I doubt you can dispel it by doppelganging. I feel like that doesn't work, but you should be able to tell which one's the real PL pretty easily. I like the PL pick, honestly. I don't think it's terrible versus Quap. His armor's really high at level 1. He's got a really good level 1 nuke. If he gets a bottle, he can actually do a decent job just harassing the PL. Or the Quap. It's a bit weird, and like you said, they can rotate a support. But let's see how it works out. I'm actually excited to see how that turns out in the mid lane.
Well, you're going to find out, man. We're getting underway, and already Poppy is moving up very, very quickly to block up any kind of pull potential. Also, with that Observer Ward, he's going to have a look at the rotations coming out from Navi. Navi are actually running everyone down to bottom, and they're going to smoke up. So they're wanting first blood here. Aggressively moving into the Radiant jungle. They've got Obs and Sentries, so I don't know if you really achieve much by blocking up the camp. You might limit the farm of Puppy, but they'll just force him to come into the lane. And, well, there's your opening. Can he blink away in time? The stuns, control, Animage. He gets away. 16 life into the tree line. That is just brutal for Navi. They committed so much to do this too. And Envy's able to survive.
It would have been a nice kill, because he actually has gold in the bank too. They would have killed him for 175 there extra, so that's really unfortunate for them. They did time their abilities correctly, but they just didn't quite have the stun duration. That was the only hero they didn't want to find, really.
The animation that will survive. Pylai Die also cops a Rocket Barrage. But this keeps the Force down the Radiant jungle a little bit longer, so they can't contest top rune. They will be able to take bottom. Okay, so are they both healing? Okay. They're switching. They're lane switching. So Misery's going to head to the bottom lane, and they're sending both the Anti-Mage as well as the Dazzle to the top.
Okay, because they're anticipating the aggressive tri lane, basically. PSM's going to block for Dendy. Dendy is going mid. It'll still be the Quap versus the PL mid, so I think Navi will be decently happy with that. And what's Funnick? Darkseer? I don't think he really is... I don't think they're too upset about this, honestly. Because they've also got wards down, so Clockwork can definitely be zoned a little bit here.
It's just if they can find the kill. The Fissure is at least going to keep the creep wave back, and that one little melee creep is going to run in range of the tower. And Soniko's actually going to have to cancel his clarity in order to stop this.
It was almost dead anyway, so it wasn't that big of a loss.
But it means now Eternal Envy gets to play up against the Darkseer. He's got the help of Pylai Die, so it's not as bad for him, but those double Iron Shells, once they get past level 1, they're going to be a lot more effective.
It's not a bad lane for Funnick, no. Dazzle's a little bit scary to lane against because he has save potential, and normally Darkseer's very good at trading, and Dazzle kind of counteracts that, but... Last hitting mid, looks like Dendy's winning it currently. I'm interested to see what build he goes for. If he's playing mid, he needs a more early game build. I feel like maybe Treads Diffusal Blade Rush, skip the Vlads or something, go bottle obviously, is what Dendy needs to do.
I can agree with that. What's Poppy up to? It looks like he's already started to, he started to illuminate some of the camps. It's the upside as well for Weeha, where he can go for the second point up in Shadow Strike, because you're going to have Poppy right behind him with a Chakra. Actually, it looks like they're moving the lanes around, so Poppy's moving up to the top lane. Funnick's becoming a little bit too pesky to deal with, and Envy's burning off a little bit of the mana. But you're already getting to a point where Funnick actually can body block up Pile Die. They need to get him off this one. The Illumina will fly in. Funnick so low. Dazzle actually gets the kill. The Darkseer will die directly after, so at least he'll get the gold, but he doesn't get much more. Down on bottom lane, Misery putting down the cogs to keep Avorst away. The Fissures come down, so they actually have to throw Misery towards Avorst, but TP support is on the way. Who's coming in? It's going to be Pile Die. He goes for the heal, and actually he goes in again! They actually find the kill. The Urshiker killed off by the tower. PSM and Avorst are just so heavily aggressive behind that tower.
Wow.
They don't want to leave.
I thought they had that for sure, and then boom, the heal comes through, and dead heroes, man. Really nice plays by Pile Die the last minute. That was really good. And
that was not what Snako could not have expected that. And the fact that he also arrived too, like the Poison Touch, as well as the Shadow Wave, you'd expect something like a Shallow Grave to come in and try and save Misery, but instead you get that return damage you're not expecting.
Yeah, and they also canceled the clarity on Havost, so Havost doesn't have his Aquila yet. It's going to be a long time until he even gets another Rocket Barrage level, so...
Snako's found Puppy. And Snako with a Haste Rune. A quick Illuminate, but now Pile Die can also go for the Poison Touch. The Haste Rune's about to wear off. And Pile Die, yeah, they commit for this one. They jump over, Snako stab. The Clockwork actually steals the kill with a rocket from bottom lane. But it's still 3 for 1. And one of those kills Navi didn't even get experience for.
Well, Dundee is bottle crowing now. Again, he gets to use Phantom Rush pretty much every time it's up to just charge straight towards Quap, and since she can't fight it due to the Poor Man's Shield, she has to force and blink out every single time, so Dundee is going to be doing a little bit better here in the mid lane, at least in terms of harass. He will out-harass her. He'll charge in a second here.
Oh, I like this from Eternal Envy. He jumped up, so now Surge still on cooldown for the Darkseer. They're not going to stop him, but at least can punish him for coming so deep behind the tower.
This is where things get dangerous, when you get to the side.
Oh, Vorst now going to go in for that Rocket Barrage. Misery dropping down pretty low. But he still wants to stick in close. He still wants to find all these experience points. There is one thing, though, which I'm interested to watch. Like, this CS is so heavily in favor of Navi. Like, if Vorst is 22, Darkseer's cracked 20, Daddy's managed to find 15, and probably even a kill here on Weeha. Blink is on cooldown for him, and the Fissure from Snako locked him in. With a doppelganger down, Danny's actually at the back end of this line and didn't have Phantom Rush available. They can't get the kill on Weeha.
A little unlucky, but they're still so happy about this. Like, Weeha's only got 10 CS at 4 minutes. And yeah, he does have that one kill, or the one assist, sorry,
Misery's
on
going
the
to get a PSM.
It's great.
He just walked. Okay, the battery assault doesn't keep him far enough away. The telekinesis grabs enough. Funnick, is there a stun? There's nothing. He'll TP out in time.
Like, Navi's pretty happy with this, honestly. Darkseer against a dual lane is always going to be fine in almost all cases. They're definitely pressuring the off lane. Like, even with those kills happening, I'm sure they're at a gold advantage, and they are.
Yeah. 250. That's not much, but for 4 minutes in, it's okay.
And it also shows what's going to happen as the minutes continue. Like, the old PL mid versus Quap, it works out, man. Ooh. Oh, no, he'll be okay.
Yeah. Then he's throwing out everything he's got left before that bottle's coming back to him.
He's got boots and a TP now, so he can even TP to other lanes to support. Bottle crowing mid on PL is actually so efficient. That nuke is just so annoying. It throws the illusion. You have to worry about the illusion hitting. You have to back up. It's really obnoxious. They might catch Clockwork bottom.
Yeah, he's putting up the cogs. Misery's still refusing to TP. Now he will. He'll go out to the tower, so they'll find him, but PSM can't find him quick enough.
TP just to the tower as well, so wisely done by him. He didn't go back to base in panic.
Snako's prepping for mid. Throws down the Observer Ward for now as Denny gets very aggressive on Weeha. The Fissure will be able to control him enough, and there's no blink away. So Weeha will finally die to Dendy in the mid. That's what they needed. Such
a weird lane. They actually both don't have that many last hits. 20 and 16. I guess it's alright, but it's a little bit low. They've been fighting a lot.
Pile Die. That's 2 Iron Shells, man. He started to lose life very quickly, and Snako again has moved over. Ready to go for the Fissure. Funnick actually preparing the Soul Ring beforehand, but he doesn't have a vacuum, so there's not enough control for him. Not to find a kill, at least. We kind of did forget about one hero, and that's Puppy. He's got more net worth than both Earthshaker and Rubik combined. Because he's just been like stacking and farming up inside the jungle. It's classic coddle.
And that's good for him because it's going to help delay the game, but at least in the early game, the effort that the Rubik as well as the Earthshaker are providing towards the other lanes is really helping things out overall. Like, Puppy's giving himself farm, but the other supports are definitely guaranteeing the other lanes getting a little bit more. So they're doing a good job despite their net worth being less.
Interesting to see this build coming out from AM. Like, Eternal Envy already had the basic ring, and now he's also got the Ring of Health. So he had the regeneration, but he decides to complete up the headdress.
It's not awful. He's going to build a Vlad's eventually anyways, and he's against a Darkseer, so he might as well buy those early regen items as early as possible, because it will help 3 regen over time. It helps slightly against the creeps as well, or against the Ion Shell, because then your creeps are healing for 3 HP per second extra. It's only 3 of the, like, 70 that Ion Shell does, but, you know.
It makes sense. It's just a little unusual.
Yeah, people have been buying a lot more early headdresses. I think Hovos did it last game as well when he was playing PL and going for the early Vlads. It's just an early regen item, and it's actually kind of nice for stats. It gives what, 2 stats or 3 stats now? Can't remember. It's up to 2 attributes. So it's kind of like a Wraith Band that also heals you. It's kind of probably the right way to look at it. An expensive Wraith Band.
But a Wraith Band that you don't have to sell later on. So
Yep, exactly. So efficient.
yeah, investment for the future. We are getting attacked again by Denny, forced to just blink himself away to safety. Just retreats out to bottle up. Should also notice too that Funnick has left the top lane. This is given a little bit more space now for Eternal Envy, who doesn't seem to be as bothered by when the Iron Shells are there. He's just dragging the creep wave back behind the tower, and it's the highest net worth for Team Secret at the moment. Paladai and PSM, they're battling for the 8-minute rune, but that means also Misery's making his way in. He's not level 6 yet. And PSM, well, this battery assault, now he's actually got the mana for it. And PSM, there's no telekinesis. The cooldown, it's a Vorce trying to buy a little bit of space here. Paladai's going to go into the Shallow Grave and then just TP out. Do they have enough for the Rocket Barrage? Paladai, he's out to safety. Rupik is down. Snakeo has the Fissure available, but Vorce, he's got one more Rocket Barrage available here. And Misery moves back in range of the tower. Vorce with the Fissure, they can control him long enough to get the kill. So a one-for-one trade-off.
Yeah, they had to adjust their positioning. The Earthshaker had to be on the left of the gyrocopter, otherwise to block the Clockwork he would also block the gyros. That's why it took a little bit for the Fissure to come through, but nicely done by him. He recognized that, and they end up getting the kill. So things continue to be pretty good for Navi there. They of course lose their Rubik, but killing the Clock in exchange for that I think is going to be worth it. Although Clock is 6 now, so he can move around the map and pressure, but where's he going to gank? I guess he has to go for Darkseer or a support, because he can't kill PL 100%. Definitely can't kill PL. So I guess he has to go top.
Darkseer makes a lot of sense. That at least will delay up the mech for Navi, so if Navi are considering like having a team fight, then they got that. But he comes to the bottom lane, they 3-man smoke up.
That'll work.
And they're looking for Vorce. Vorce is a long way down here, and he's alone. There's no friends for the 4th position, but when the hook shot misses, and Misery doesn't run up, Vorce can just phase boot and run away. That's a costly miss.
I really feel like they should just walk behind him there. They didn't need to go for the skill shot there. I mean, Misery, I'm sure had a lot of faith in his abilities, but that was a 100% gyrocopter kill, and they committed a smoke to that and 2 supports time. Like, Puppy could have been jungling right there. Dazzle could have started a pull, but they're all late now. That was a huge mistake. They really should have just played it safe, walk behind, but maybe they're worried about their team backing them up or something. Not sure.
Either way, it's an escape for Vorce and a timely one for him, because this will allow him to farm up the stack. And this should also complete up the Helm of the Dominator, which means now we'll start seeing more stacks of the Dire camp, which is already pretty heavy. Like, that's a quad stack waiting for Revorsed, and I'm kind of surprised when there's a gyrocopter on Navi's side that Secret haven't made a bit more of an effort to ward up that camp so it cannot be stacked.
They've just been busy, you know? They got aggressively trialing. The supports are reacting to ganks and things like that because Navi's appropriately being aggressive. So because they're being aggressive, they just don't have the time to go over there. Gyro will farm it eventually, but you know, what happens if they get a fast battle fear on anti-mage as well? They can maybe even steal it. It's less likely, but it's a possibility.
True. It's not a possibility for anti-mage right now. Like maybe he can steal the second stack that they attempt to do. But Navi's got the vision's just too good. Like the observer ward around the pit, the one watching the mid. If Secret's gonna walk anywhere on this map, Navi should at least have some early warning systems about it. In fact, Weeha's too close. PSM's going to pick him up. Avorce goes directly for the cooldown. With a Fidget control, they will pick him up before he can blink himself away. So a really nice little pick.
So I was just looking at the last sets and saying that Navi is doing fine, but with a kill like that, they're in a good spot. Funnick might be able to get a kill here, but there's kind of like 3 heroes. This looks pretty bad.
They're actually dragging down more. They brought in Pylai, and well, with the Mana Void, yeah, Funnick trying to get himself out here. The Iron Shells. Pylai, move away, move away! The Shallow Grave's going to kick in. Misery still wants to pick up. He's got Cog to Val with a Battery Assault, making it difficult for Funnick to run away. And Envy will just jump up with a rocket. One more attack from Envy will find the kill. Misery's running in with the Battery Assault. Funnick into the trees. The Cogs burn. It's still not enough to find the kill. He's down so low on 11 life. Envy just hit him. Able to do so. Finally, he's down.
Can we get a space created?
Snako
God.
TP'd in here, and he was meant to throw a fissure, but there was no mana left.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He's almost got a soul ring too. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but Funnick, man, what a waste of their time. They could have gotten a couple more CS out of that. Said they were chasing him in circles for a good 45 seconds.
And the fact you also have to, like, well, they didn't have to burn a TP because it was just a recall. That was Puppey doing recall.
I see.
But
Puppey's still farming really well.
Yeah. What's he actually building into? So he's actually going to be building the mech for the team, obviously, with Animage going Vlad, then he gets the mech. Pylai Die will go into the medallion. For some reason, I kind of thought that maybe he would try and rush up the Aghanim Scepter just to enable Eternal Envy split farming a lot more.
I just think the fast mech is good, honestly. No one else really wants to build it. Dazzle can't farm quite as fast. There's pressure on all the other lanes, and him like going to the top lane in the early game wasn't going to do much because it's not like he can zone a Darkseer by himself. So it's good that he just committed to the jungle this game. So he's going to have a really fast Guardian Greaves. He's going to be able to remove silences and stuff like that too.
Still very surprising how much CS that Eternal Envy's managed to crack down. Like he's only 800 net worth behind that of the Gyro. But they both got 1 kill and 1 assist, but it's just for the start that Havos had on that lane.
Yeah, they missed a lot of kills though. Like Havos is doing very well, but there were a lot of kills that they just barely didn't get. So Havos is doing well, but it's not amazing. He's got Helm of the Dominator now, so he's gone the full greed build. So he'll be able to stack a lot with this, and then it also transitions nicely into a Satanic late game. So if you can get away with it, this is the best build, but you have to be doing well to have it.
And Denny's making life as hard as he can for Misery on this top. And Misery's just backing out. There's too many heroes missing. So he's assuming a rotation, but then again, if he's assuming a rotation, he wouldn't walk over like he just did. He's got 7 stick charges, but that is not going to be enough. The double TPs came, and Weehaw actually completed his, but yep. Dazzle didn't want to come. Weehaw will just blink out.
So Rubik maybe could have saved his spell steal. He used it on the Clockwork before he died to get a re-picked up Rocket Flare, but they weren't going to get that kill. That's fine. But that was a really big pickup. Not only does that give them gold, but it also clears the map a little bit more, so lets them do more aggressive things. And since they do have pretty strong ganking heroes, they're going to be able to profit from that. Now we'll see what Dendi gets next. He's got 2,300 gold. It's probably not going to be BOTs because he didn't purchase it yet. I really feel like it just has to be an item, just instantly useful. Diffusal Blade or something like that. And he has to pressure with it a lot too.
Diffusal? What if...
Darkseer might die.
Yeah, he's pretty low, but he's not dead yet. He's still on the tree line, and Puppey doesn't have another Luminant, and the hook shot from Misery, it was blind. He didn't really have proper vision of Funnick, so he had to make a guess. If Funnick run up or down, and he goes down, he gets strong.
Yeah,
but he's still going to go for that second rocket. And Funnick's moved off to the side.
Vacuum.
Okay.
It's going to be okay. Rough day for Misery, basically. He's been missing a lot of hooks. But
his first game was pretty good, though.
Yeah, his first game was really good. I don't really blame him for a lot of the hooks, but some of them have been slight mistakes.
Well, Funnick's happy he's back at base now. The rocket wouldn't have been enough to kill him by the time he got back here.
Ooh, and Havos, again, another early game item. Gets a drum.
Dendi is going Diffusal Blade. He just picked up the double blades.
Okay. Yeah, I think he has to do that. We'll see if he goes stats. He'll probably go stats over more Phantom Rush, but maybe that's a mistake as well. The Ancient starts.
Easy farming for Revorsed. You go the greed kind of build, but when you got this kind of stuff behind you, looks like Pylai Die's in trouble too. Try to shallow grave. He's got no heal up, so ends up just dying to Dendi's PL. It's kind of crazy the fact like they got away with this Dendi PL, as well as actually having a Gyrocopter. Navi's team fight, as well as like late game potential, is really damn good.
Yeah, it really is, and they're on a good path right now too.
Misery
looking for
okay, he might be really happy he missed this hook though, because they're there waiting for him. They just initiate him, they toss him back. The blinding light will push Navi back up the hill. But if he hit that or didn't hit that, he was still dead.
It would have been bad, yeah. I guess he was hoping to get a solo Gyrocopter, but Navi wisely shows up to defend it. Because when you know your teammate or your opponents are going to actually contest it, you need to be there to back them up. Otherwise, it just turns into Gyrocopter dying and the Ancients dying afterwards. This is worth committing all of your heroes to standing around for. Is that a double drum? Oh no, I was just hearing audio feedback.
Alright. I apologize if you get that.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, it was just the one drum.
Almost mech on Darkseer now, so that'll be good for his team fight. Quap might get a solo kill though. This looks
she
pretty
gets Sonic
likely.
Wave in time, yeah. But
Can he land
Funnick,
it?
Hooking around, actually the hook shot in from PSM.
Oh,
No, okay.
that was good. Somebody can land a hook. That's funny.
That's just dropping salt in the wound. Like, Misery's attempted, what, 4 hook shots and hasn't hit a single one? Rubik attempts 1 with a stolen hook shot and is able to land it perfectly. Pilo Die might be in a little bit of trouble here as Denny's going to initiate on him. And, yeah, he has to instantly just Shallow Grave. There's no stuns available, but at the same time, he doesn't have mana for a TP, so he's down.
That fast diffusal blade is honestly so good. I really feel like more PLs should buy it. They always go for like farming late game items, like the Yasha or whatever gets you items faster, but...
This is the time. Puppy's going to stay out of range of the hook. The Illuminate will clean up the illusions. This allows them to come in. In fact, it's going to be also Eternal Envy arriving. The Blinding Light will push him back in. Misery, he's out of mana. He's tick charging up, but these illusions removed everything, so he can't even use his hook shot. Not unless Puppy's going to give him Chakra.
Navi's looking really good right now, man. This game looks really good for them. PL's leveling up his Phantom Rush. Once that's maxed out, he just sends illusions after like Dazzle or something. The AoE clear of Secret's actually really poor. It's basically what, Quap, Battle Fury, and Illuminate, but you can't always prep the Illuminate for that. So they have really bad ways to deal with the PL. I think that's why they just picked him mid. They're like, works fine against Quap. Their AoE is poor. It's going to be, they have poor ganking heroes with Coddle. Like, they're in such a good position with this hero.
It's a wonderful time. It's a wonderful time for Navi. Or at least for Navi fans. At the same time, everyone wanted Secret to have a very dominating performance on their first trip out. Misery is at hookshot time now. They had the Observer Ward and they let Phonic go. It's only Misery as well as Puppy up here. While the rest of Navi is smoke ganking.
Rubik is ready with hookshot as well. He's got it for another 20 or 30 seconds or something like that.
Why do we keep finding Pili die by his little lonesome out in the side lanes?
I mean, because there's free experience. Kind of a thing. He'll show up to a lane. Oh, he's going to die now. He doesn't have TP for 10. It's over.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Pi.
And PSM just uses it anyway. Slows him down. Oh, wait, no. He's not going to survive that. But Rubik just does Shallow Grave, which is very, very nice for Navi.
Yeah. It's tough to play Dazzle against Rubik. Because every time you get ganked, he always is going to get graved, pretty much.
Well, the only other option is you go for Poison Touch, but you don't have mana left for that.
Yeah, he can just time it. It's really easy. And most of the time you're getting chain stun when you're ganked anyways.
Oh, this is bait from Secret. This is bait. They have Weeha behind the lines. The problem is this fight's way too far away from me. He's behind the tower. The Dynasty will drop down the wall, but now in comes Weeha with the Mana Void as well coming in from Eternal Envy. Misery is low, but Denny wants to keep fighting him on. And they can't find the real Denny. Now they will. They jump over. But there's too many heroes, and that Shallow Grave from PSM kicks in. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off. The Illuminate from Poppy's going to be a little bit too late. It can at least damage the creep wave. And Horvors is looking for the picks. Blink stolen by PSM. So actually, sorry, he only saw Scream of Pain. So we can't chase after Weeha.
Still okay for Navi. It was a good fight for Secret, though, I think. The Anti-Mage got the kill. He's 2-0-1. His Headdress still kicking out regen. It's almost got Vlad's, and from there, it's pretty much just AFK farm. How's the blink on Seneko? Not even close, 600 gold. So it's still going to be a while until they have pretty reliable disable against Anti-Mage. I think he's pretty happy this game. If anyone wants to do good on Secret's lineup, it's definitely going to be Anti-Mage.
Well, as I said previously, man, at TI, he was the guy. Even when you lost all your added Tier 1 towers, he was still able to move between the Radiant as well as the Diet Camps with ease. There's a little bit of a leapfrog. It's going to be scattered out by a Voss creep. Not to mention, they have a Dire Observer Ward looking at him. This is, okay, he'll blink over. Phonic was making his way up to Eternal Envy.
Can they catch him as he farms back? They don't have wards, so he's not going to see this coming. Well, they'll see Soneko, but the other two in the jungle, I don't know if they can kill him solo. Probably not, but... Oh, and the recall. Just what he needed.
The perfect timing. Drags him up to the Ancients just as they're being stacked too. But he knows where to go. And this is why I was wondering about the Aghanim Scepter on Puppy. And he is building into this next, obviously. But once he's got that up, Eternal Envy's got a license to farm everywhere on the map. Even split push. And he's going to come in behind, and that's Courier kills as well. Extra cash coming the way of Secret. Starts to creep skip it, and this is the death of the Tier 1 tower. Denny knows it, he's bailing. The only thing they can look for, Navi, is a trade-off for the Tier 2 tower on bottom, or they go for the big man. They're heading in for Roshan.
That's going to be completely worth it. That's definitely that's a good trade for a Tier 1 tower. Aegis on... I don't know who they'll put on. Dendy, probably. I feel like Dendy's a little bit more vulnerable since he doesn't have magic immunity here. Pavos has all early game items. He's got lifesteal. He's got a lot of damage. He's got the levels he needs, and he even got mech. They're definitely ready to go push after this.
It's still taking a while to do this. Dendy is actually taking a lot of damage too. Now it's
Yeah,
up
no
to
medallion.
Snako, but they'll still finish it off. But it took them a little bit longer than expected. So this top tier 2 tower is already down to, well, practically nothing. They're going to fortify and TP in 1, but look at him move forward. It's like, well, okay, Funnick, yeah, you can do that. And he will be able to survive. And they take out that top tower anyway. So Secret trade Roshan for a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower.
Maybe not worth it then. If it was just 1 tower, I think they're pretty happy, but 2 is a little tough. If they had a medallion, it definitely would have died faster, but they don't really have any natural medallion carriers this game. None of these supports are going to want it, really. Or Shaker, Rubik, they all have other items that are more important, so... Not the best for them, but they're still ahead.
They just have to try and hold this advantage. Don't let it go while that anti-mage is still... Like, if you check out the net worth, man, it's swinging up. And this is the effect of the AM. So they need to find ways to stop it. Having that sentry ward definitely helps, so there's no Radiant Ancients for Eternal Envy to farm. And he's moving back, expecting it to spawn up. The second it doesn't, he'll have to flag to the rest of his teammates and go, okay, guys, yep, okay, either I was too close or that's blocked. So he'll assume it's blocked.
Yeah, he'll figure it out. It's good that they blocked it, though. Coddle's almost got Aghanim Scepter, only about 800 gold away. Or he could finish Guardian Greaves, but I think he'll probably do Ags
Hey, if
first.
he lets this go now, is Daddy dead?
That was pretty close.
That first Illumina did a lot of damage. Pyrelite Die is going to go down again. Well, and I think that nickname's going to kick back in again pretty soon. But he's 1 for 5 now as this Dazzle.
This is a tough game.
It
This is a tough
really
Dazzle
is.
game.
It really, really is. But you then look up towards top lane. Weehar's pushing out. He's got enough to finish up the Orchid, even though he hasn't bought it yet. He might be worried about buyback. He's short by 370.
He's so behind compared to last game. He was so far ahead last game, but this is a tough one.
He's a
just-
0-3 quap. Like, it's not going to get better for him.
Well, he can grab some kills. Now that he has the Orchid, he can go for like Earthshaker, Rubik, stuff like that. Definitely Rubik. Rubik's is the easy kill for him. He's entirely reliant on his Blink stolen spell right now.
Puppy brought Envy back to the mid lane. I don't know if Envy really wanted to do that as he kind of... There was still some camps for him to farm up inside of his own jungle. And he blinked towards the top lane, which made me think indecision. But once he's finished these 3 camps inside of his own jungle, we're looking at a full mana style up for the anti-mage. And then they're going to have something really to deal with both the Gyro, who can't just get an easy rocket barrage on the anti-mage, but something that can at least distract a lot of the PL illusions. And then after that, it's probably going to be BKB, so he doesn't get burnt.
Or Anti-Mage can basically be a huge damage threat in the fights. If he gets a couple more levels in Mana Break now, he can just jump on Rubik or Darkseer and just do a huge Mana Void. Something like that could definitely win them the fight.
I always wondered why that Mana Void wasn't as powerful, and realized, yeah, it's only 1 point up in Mana Break.
Yeah.
Pylite
He wants all
Eye.
these stat levels.
Pylite Eyes. Shallow Grave again. This time Dazzle stole Weave. I mean, sorry, Wave, not Weave.
Shallow Wave's good. Arguably better with PL, because if you surround all the illusions on somebody and you heal bomb them, then it'll do a bunch of damage.
Puppy's got the Ags now. So daytime fighting's a lot more desirable for Team Secret, but it's also this Illuminate spam without having to risk your core. I mean, your support. Funnick wants to surge away. The Orca's going to be there, and again, Misery misses the hookshot. That's 3 TPs coming in. The Cogs be able to split this up a little bit more. As a Vorst, they get the Lance off. So Misery will die on the side. Are they, yeah, they're lucky enough to get Weehar out, though.
This is looking so good for Navi. Pavos hasn't died yet. He's got 1,000 gold in the bank. Dendy basically went full early battle mode, and he's transitioning into his Manta style, or whatever else he wants to build instead. Yeah, he will go Manta afterwards. And then hopefully a Scotty.
I still keep seeing that anti-mage, and every time you say it, I just find myself bringing the camera back to the anti-mage.
I mean, he is farming well, but he's not ahead like he was the previous game. Last game, he was way ahead in terms of items.
Yeah.
He's got Manta Battle Fury Vlad's. That's a great item build to have at this point. It's very fast, but Gyrocopter is having essentially a perfect game. Maybe not a perfectly perfect game, but he went full greed build. He's got his Battle Fury. He'll transition into, I don't know, Butterfly or MKB next, something like that. And there's also the PL, who's also doing quite well in terms of farm.
Yeah. Maybe
Their
the other
net worth is
concern
not
should
far
be...
enough behind.
Yeah, maybe the other concern should be the fact that the Queen of Pain is not the second hero for Secret, as far as net worth goes. that's actually the Keeper of the Light. Keeper of the Light has more net worth than the Queen of Pain right now.
Not too surprising, I guess. He went Arcane Boots.
Hook
he
shot.
went
This
full
time Misery's able to connect. Funnick will come in too, but with the Sonic Wave, Snakeo's going to pop from the Orchid. They're going to back it back out of the cogs with the Rocket there too. Funnick's going to drop. There's 2 kills coming in for Secret. Navorce needs more damage, but, well, he only gets 1. He only gets the Clockwork. Weehaw got out to safety in time with that TP.
Oh, wow, he's actually leveling up Homing Missile. I actually kind of like that this game. He like feels so strong. He's like, I'm so ahead. I have very low chance of dying. I've got a BKB. I've got lifesteal. I might as well skill up my homing missile to help out against Quap because it's actually very good against blinking heroes. It follows them all the way, you know, and it's a huge stun. 2.6. If they blink away, it's basically a guaranteed 500 damage nuke because they're going to be far away by the time it hits them. It's actually quite a good choice this game. I really like the skill on paper is very good, but almost always you want stats over it. But I think this is a rare game where it's better to have homing missile, and now he's got a MKB at 27 minutes. This guy is farmed.
That he is, man. That he is. He's almost at the dream build. Dream build being BKB. Butterfly and Satanic with the Monkey King buff. Like, there's very little then that can fight up against you.
Toby, you just named 2 items away from where he is currently. That is, he's not quite there. I think you're jumping
that's the dream, man. Actually, I think that's what we used to refer to as the Rapier build. Where you had
might as well be a Rapier.
Where you had Satanic. Like, actually, I don't even think you needed all 4 of them. Like, you just have Satanic, BKB, as well as Butterfly. And then any damage dealing item. And you can't be stopped as a Gyro. Unless you've got someone that is so crazily tanky that they can get through that entire damage output.
I don't know if he goes Satanic or Butterfly next, though. I'm not quite sure. I know a lot of players have been buying like early Satanics on Gyrocopter lately, but if he goes Butterfly, the Anti-Mage becomes more or less a non-factor, I feel. If he goes Satanic, then he's more survivable against burst damage. But I don't think he needs to worry about burst damage too much because he has a BKB. I would say go Butterfly next on Gyro. And at that point, the main threat, which has the chance of winning team fights, is Anti-Mage, and he counters that.
I'd almost want Gyrocopter to like Havos take some time to buy this. Because right now, Eternal Envy's reaching decision time. Like, he's got 3,600 gold on himself right now, and if he doesn't go into the Monkey King bar and goes for Butterfly next, and Avos is able to farm faster than him, then it's going to cause real issues for Anti-Mage, because he's basically not able to counter the item beforehand.
Exactly. Like, playing carry is more about countering your opponent's carry, and when they actually do end up fighting during those team fights, assuming your gold advantages are pretty close. So, like you said, if he gets the Butterfly before, if they both get Butterflies following up here, then Gyrocopter's going to have a big window where he's way better against Anti-Mage than Anti-Mage is against him. And if he can win a fight or two where he kills Anti-Mage or vice versa, then all of a sudden the momentum completely sways to one side and the game is pretty much over.
I hate to tell you, man, but that momentum is swinging again. Like, Navi had a 4,000 lead in net worth, and now it's up to almost 4,000 in favor of Secret. The experience hasn't been Secret's way since like the 3rd, 4th minute.
I'm not worried for them at all, honestly.
You still think it's
for
good?
Navi, that is. Navi still has an advantage here. Like, look at their cores as well. They have at least a 2-core lineup. Plus, they have a support that's Earthshaker, and they have a Darkseer.
Yep.
And they have a Rubik. They have like 5 heroes that scale amazing into the late game, pretty much, that are always relevant in team fights. And they have 2 carries that are very, very hard carries in the late game, Gyrocopter and Phantom Lancer, where Secret is pretty much on the back of an Anti-Mage, who's almost 6-slotted and doesn't get a whole lot stronger between now and his next item.
Mana Style's going to pop, and, well, Blink's still by PSM, but it doesn't stop Eternal Envy from blinking himself away, and he's already getting recalled. So, Puppy brings him all the way back to base for the moment.
They still blink as well. Pretty good for PSM. They have a gem now. Navi's got map control. So even if they have some slight gold disadvantage now, their team fight is stronger, their important heroes are stronger, and their late game is looking to be very good.
Misery. Well, PSM's going to find himself a long way out, but then Misery, he's getting recalled right now. The jump in, is there enough time? Nope. Misery takes the damage, and that means recall gets cancelled, and he is now going to die for the 7th time tonight in this game too. At least made them work for it, but he's died more times than Dazzle right now. It's 1-7 versus 1-6. Sorry, 3-7 versus 1-6.
So this becomes a split push game now for Secret, I think, and that's basically what they've been doing for a while now. They just spread out and farm their heroes, push the lanes. And that's why Pylite is often out of position as well, because he's up here pushing lanes. He's getting himself farm, he's getting himself last hits. Despite all of his deaths, he's actually got decent CS, and he's got a couple items that might actually be relevant.
Dendy's in trouble. No, he's not. He's cut Doppelganger.
No, he had Diffusal Blade. He got Silence, but he removed the Silence with Diffusal Blade, and then he Doppelgangered. Otherwise, it would have been a little dangerous. And he goes BOTs next, so now all of his illusions run stupidly fast.
and I hope as I click on him, okay, he's a while off it. He needs the recipe. But to get that 4-staff is going to give him such a higher chance of survival against this Navi lineup. Because that is one thing which they do struggle with, is the control. Like you mentioned before, like homing missile, you leveled up over. Like the Darkseer jump in with the blink, normally that's how you're going to start your fight. Like you blink yourself in, your Rubik's doing his control, the Fissure's thrown out at the early start. If you can survive that initial point, you can 4-staff and you can give yourself a lot more space to work with.
Maybe, because it all comes down to how the initiation goes. If it's a vacuum into a dunk on like 2 supports, the fight's over, basically. I don't see them winning that.
Then you won't save. Yeah, it still requires him to tank through the initial attack.
The opposite for Secret is less likely as well. You've got like, let's hypothetically say Clock hooks in and cogs like 5 people in a small group, like a pseudo vacuum. That's pretty much the only way I see that Secret's going to win some of these fights, unless they do wide spread out, pick off 1 by 1 kind of things.
All right, we're off again. That next item is up for the Anti-Mage, and well, we kind of ignored it a little bit, but it's now here. It's the BKB, the 32-minute BKB coming in for the Anti-Mage, as opposed to completing up the Abyssal Blade.
Helps a lot against Earthshaker, I guess. So if he goes for a gank and Earthshaker's there, he doesn't have to worry about getting turned on easily. So that's the trade-off, I suppose.
That Illuminate's in a good position for Puppey. That unobstructed vision is also a beautiful thing during the daytime for him. Pylite Die will not be as beautiful, or then again, PSM, the damage. Yeah, PSM's... Pylite Die, he gets at least a Shellic Grave off, as well as a Glimmer Cape, but he can't protect himself for long enough, so Gyrocopter will still find the kill. While Eternal Envy is pushing the issue. So taking the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. She's just leaving his illusion behind. That tower fortification, he's worried about the rotation up. And rightly so, PSM comes in with a Blink Dagger. Misery gonna cogs him back, and he's also getting recalled. They just need to get him out of harm's way, and they're able to do so.
Really like the strat they're doing with the Glimmer Capes and Recall. They're honestly just really abusing Recall, making it seem very good. They can do as much aggressive stuff as they want, and if their opponents don't have detection there, or if they're not quite in the area, it's like a super blink. If you just don't do damage for 4 seconds, they're gone. It's over. So at this point, getting 16 on Coddle is actually really important, because then it puts it down to 3 seconds.
Puppey starts the Illuminate while the Rocket scouts out Roshan. Navi did start it, but they're not going to finish it. They're actually brought, I don't know if that was intentional, okay, yeah, they brought the range creep with them, and they'll get a new one in for Revost. But up on top lane, like, I'm still seeing MV push. Bottom lane's being cleared out. Like, for everything that Navi's got, they're struggling to find a target. When they do, they're going to hit like a hammer. With a fresh Alpha Wolf as well up for the Gyro, like, the increase in damage is really good, but then they hookshot over. Funny's going to get isolated, and it's Cogs that gets stolen out. That's not really going to help him too much until he isolates Misery himself, but the Illumina flies in perfectly from the Keeper of the Light. Can they find more? Vorst having real troubles getting banished up. That BKB will protect him as the defensive charge of it. As the Illusions run even further forward. Snakeo's Fidget causes troubles, and that poor little Alpha Wolf, it only just got claimed. Puppey will get it out with the Illuminate. And now Secret feel confident enough that they can take Roshan.
That was pretty much a perfect fight for them. I mean, hookshot on a Darkseer, he didn't have Vacuum Wall, he just casted the wall down, and then they just dealt with the carries on the other side. Anti-Mage pops Manta style, doesn't even have to BKB, and Gyro pretty much just has to run away. So he still can't kill those illusions very rapidly, at least not until he has Butterfly. So all of a sudden, Secret actually wins a pretty good fight and takes an advantage just by basically making Navi run around the map. If Navi was actually 5 together, that fight might have gone completely different. But because they were chasing around the map consistently trying to find people, they thought they were going to set up a solo kill on Anti-Mage, but in reality, the whole team was there.
You actually wonder, though, like even when they run around as 5, how do they get the vision? When you have Puppey with an Aghanim Scepter as well as a gem, like, keeping map control is really, really difficult.
Yeah, it really is tough. And they lost their own gem, by the way. Rubik lost his, so...
So they actually don't have any gems. Like, there's a gem on Puppey and there's a gem on Misery. Yeah.
That was PSM's items. Like, he basically went all in on that gem early to D-Ward and stuff, and now he's lost it, and now he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. Havos finishes Satanic, so he goes for HP and the ability to fight endlessly.
They're recalling in friends. I think Puppey's asking them to get rid of that rocket which is chasing after him. Okay, maybe he doesn't actually realize it's there. Now they'll see it. But they'll hit it. I do love that thud sound.
I do.
The metallic thud. So, Navi have now 4 players in the mid. They're moving Dendi over to try and farm. But there's no camps. EE Summer has been here. Didn't leave a note. But he's at a point now where with one more... Actually, if he farms with these Ancients now, he'll have enough for his full Abyssal Blade. And that has him basically 6-slotted. The only other thing he would remove would be the Vladimir's Aura for probably something a little bit stronger, be it Butterfly or Heart. That's it.
Yep, agreed. You can always get a Moonshard too, and BOTs, but not really something to talk too much about for now.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much everybody on Secret is happy with their items at the moment, with the exception of Queen of Pain. You'd love to have like an Eggs instead of that Magic Wand. But Navi, again, trying to force the issue. They grouping up top, and they're going to go push top. See if they can actually take the tier 2 tower.
The split push is actually pretty low right now for Secret. Envy's moving in towards the mid, so even if they do take this tier 2 tower on the top lane, the Illuminate slows everything down. And then Envy's already pressuring the mid tier 2. Leaves these illusions behind, but there's no fortification to stop this.
Yeah, they can't fight there. They don't have an Observer Ward. They have a Sentry and a Dust on their heroes, and that's it. So it'd be very easy for Secret to take a better fight there, since they can wrap around from the right side.
Yep.
And Secret likely had an Observer Ward there, so Navi just keeps losing opportunities here, and they have to continue to 5-man. They're
going to fight bottom.
A little scary now.
That Observer Ward, though, it sees everything. So Funny's playing the bait game. They see Misery as well as Anti-Mage without a full Abyssal Blade completed. And that's, yeah, I think now, Secret have realized that they're being watched. Their Observer Wall will scout out Dendi moving in, and it's just blink away and recall.
Oh man, Navi pretty much just running across the map with 5 heroes, and Secret runs away from them. It's pretty much what's happening.
I don't even know if we can class this as like full-on Rat Dota.
It's a weird game, that's for sure.
It's just really good rotations. Now, well, all 5 of them up. Havor's going to lose a little bit of mana, but he can just BKB himself out of this. But then the Abyssal Blade, they're focusing on Vorse on the back, and he's going to go down. He gets at least a cooldown off, but that's all on Weeha. Focuses then onto Seneko, so no Earthshaker feature coming up in this fight. You might return the Sonic Wave, but after being bashed, it's going to be a triple kill for Eternal Envy. And Funnick isolated. He goes for the Surge, and he'll run himself away. Weeha, one attack. He's going to Shadow Strike. Funnick will actually just tick from that. And Envy's already at the objective. They're attacking into the tier 4 towers and get the buyback out from Avorst as well as Funnick.
And we still haven't even seen Dendi die yet this game, but things are just not going well for them. I think there's a slight item build mistake here with Hovost here by building the Satanic. The Satanic does very little to help him stay alive versus Anti-Mage Abyssal. Like, it gives him 500 HP, that's pretty much it, because he's stunned for 3 seconds. What he really needed there, in my opinion, was a Butterfly.
Weeha?
Oh, Weeha's gonna... Ooh, almost.
Shallow and... He's gonna BT back and then get recalled back in again. I mean, not BT, just TP back.
Pretty easy. But if he had Butterfly there, he might have survived versus the Anti-Mage and gotten away for a bit, but either way, the fight was just not good. Huge vision advantage from the Radiant team, and they didn't have vision of their opponents, so... Just started on the back foot, and... With Havos just dying like that, and now buying back, now Anti-Mage is stupidly ahead, instead of back before where they were kind of even.
He's so, a full 10,000. A full 10,000 net worth in front. If you actually look at the overall net worth, there's 16,000 net worth in front here, Secret, and 12,000 experience. And this is the reason why I was the Doomsayer in this cast. Where I was like, you know what, I've seen this happen before. Like, I've watched this movie, and it's potentially a rerun.
You've seen Anti-Mages winning long Dota games for like 5 years now?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, longer than 5
really
years.
Does.
Just 5 years. Just 5 years in Dota 2. Go back to Dota 1. Oh my, that lasted forever.
Yeah, Anti-Mage it's been a long time since he was a weak hero.
Yeah.
I remember a long time ago when people were like, yeah, Anti-Mage sucks. But I think that was because people never built Battle Fury on him. Like, once they nailed that build down, it was like, oh, Anti-Mage is amazing.
Wait, this hero can actually find farm? Oh, it's like finding the gold well. So, Anti-Mage illusions are already creep skipping, and this forced Navi back. Secret read the smoke gank right, like they knew everyone was missing, so they just let it go. There's no Observer Walls that saw Navi moving into their own jungle. And Navi had to do something like that. Like, they can't just try and take these straight-on fights anymore. There's too much armor. In fact, Dazzle's kind of like the perfect thing to have up against this Gyrocopter. The man who's trying to find all the damage, but only has the Monkey King bar. If that weave is up at a very, very high amount, then, like, heroes like Anti-Mage, huge amounts of armor. You've already got your spell resistance as well. And once he completes up something like a heart, or whatever his next big item is going to be, Navi just don't have the damage output. That's...
Yeah. Jar can't deal with Anti-Mage really anymore. It's so tough. He needed to be an item or two ahead for damage, and His magic nukes do almost nothing. Flat cannon's on such a long cooldown, 30 seconds, that it almost never even does that much in team fights.
Yeah.
It's looking really bad for Navi now. They basically need Phantom Lancer, I think, to come and kick in. And he went for Reaver, so he's opting for HP over the Scotty. I'm not sure if I like that, but it's probably better for long engagements.
That's probably the only way Dendy thinks he's going to survive. 2k life is not enough. If he gets Abyssal Bladed, he needs time to be able to doppelganger out.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Scotty gives you 750, and it also gives you armor, so in some ways it's better. But if it's a long engagement where you can disengage and start regenning up again, then hard is definitely better. So, all right, with that said, Toby, I actually have to leave now.
Okay. Thanks very much for joining me, Purge. It was short notice, but Purge actually has other commitments he's got to run over to in case this game went a little bit too long. So, thanks for joining me. He was able to jump in the absence of Blitz, who at this point is sicker than a dog.
It's too bad for him.
Yeah.
All right, thanks again for having me. All right, have fun casting the rest of this one.
Thanks a lot, Purge. I think I will, actually. I don't think this game is over by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it's not. There's going to be a lot of chasing.
Yep.
That's what I'm anticipating. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
All right, thanks, Purge. All right. So it's just you and me, guys. But it really is at that point now where we've kind of discussed almost every option, and it's all down to execution to find the openings. And one of them will be Puppey. Here in the middle lanes, the Fissure will connect and Puppey. Blinding Light makes him very, very difficult to get this hit. Rubik was able to steal that, but then he brings in Eternal Envy. Hits the BKB with the hook shot at the back end. PSM, he actually used the Blinding Light to get a little bit more space as a force. Turns on the Satanic, but Envy is just more of a man, bringing him down. Weeha's here as well. It's a double kill coming the way of Eternal Envy. Do they have more? The TPs are out in these PL illusions. Palado be 4-star forward. But where are your buybacks? They don't exist for all three heroes of Navi. And this could be the end where they're just way too strong. If they can get a lockdown control on Dendy, he does have a buyback, so he'll have two Dendys in this fight. But Eternal Envy can just stand on the front lines. And what is that? It's Weeha bringing in the remainder of his Scythe of Vice. And Envy moving down now for 2 lanes of racks. Purge leaves and everything becomes exciting all of a sudden. The bottom lane it will also drop. Dendy just land spamming as much as he can, but the illusions don't do anything. Like, they burn up the mana of the anti-mage, but he already consumed a moon shard. That's where the extra money went to. Because anti-mage definitely got a lot more than just having 6.7k gold extra. So 2 lanes of racks is down. The Scythe of Vice has been completed. Paladai's losing a little bit of his mana. He doesn't really want to have this happen. Doesn't have his arcane boots, but Envy, he keeps the pressure on the bottom lane, keeps Navi looking down, and then Puppey just recalls him towards the top lane. So Navi just unable to deal with this huge core, yet you get the blink over from PSM. But Blink won't stop this. If he can steal Illuminate from Puppey, that'll be so much bigger for him. Because then at least there'll be something to get rid of this secret creep wave. But it just doesn't exist for now. So Navi being sieged up inside their own base. How long we got until Roshan? He's already up. So if they want to make the move for it secret, they can do so. It's not really essential to do so. Primarily because if they do drop down Roshan, then Navi have a small window back into this game. And it's pretty damn small. Like Puppey bought back for the previous fight. And the rocket actually just flies right over the top of Navi. They're coming down towards Roshan. And Dendy, okay, this is the Hallelujah play. The heart will be completed over on Dendy, and they basically have to have 2 PLs to do this. But look at Secret. You can take Roshan, but they're going to take the top tier 3 tower. No fortification available, and it's taken too long. Navi lost their window of opportunity. They're not going to go up against Megas. They realize that won't be enough. The hook shot in. They catch out the Darkseer. No wall. They explode him with the Sonic Wave as PSM also slowed up. Misery wants him to hurt him. That's what the Blade Mail is for. Return all that damage. The Force will come out, but the Glimmer Cape, they drop down the sentry. Now they see Misery, but it's too late. He's walked back out of the base. The Resistance helped him to survive until Seneko jumps out with that Blink Dagger and finishes the job with the Echo Slam. But the top ranks is gone. They're up against Megas and Navi. Not only are their backs to the wall, their legs have been chained to the wall. This is really an impossible situation. Unless a Force has something like a Rapier somewhere hidden up his sleeve. This game really does belong to Team Secret. Now get to go 2-0 and advance themselves through into the next round. Well, they'll get to play up against Alliance. Another former member of Team Secret playing up against Team Secret. The battles of the old rivalry, and okay. Envy's now at the point where he's farming up buildings. Taking out a Vorse effigy. Are they coming back yet? The effigy death isn't enough. The tier 4 towers are obviously a concern. They're starting the BTs in. This is just Navi trying to buy space, and Puppey can just recall in Envy, and they'll take Roshan themselves. Put an end to this little bit of a back and forward, to and fro. And without the Aegis, the Immortal, Navi has no chance of winning this. And actually, he's dropping down his treads. Okay, so he wants to drop the treads so he can grab the Aegis, and I think they told him no. So what's going to happen? It'll be the Aegis, the Immortal into Puppey. And Navi, well, Shake already had to buy it back right now. The Aegis, the Immortal is in the hands of the Keeper of the Light. The tier 4 tower, Standing is desperately scrambling to defend this, as Envy is looking for an opening. Phonic runs one way, and he's going to blink up. Start with the Abyssal Blade. She just gets a bash, then into the Abyssal Blade. A Vorse being hookshotted out, so there's no way for him to survive. Buyback is available, and he may as well just use it right now, because the rest of Navi are currently being invaded by an insane amount of little green people. They'll back out. Anti-Mage, not enough damage on him to get the kill. He'll buy a little bit more space. Paladai die very... Is he really going to die again? It's the only kill that Denny can get, giving Paladai his 8th death. Misery. Navi's actually holding this for now. Her Vorse doing serious work. Down to 11 life. The Weeha's back into the fight. Throws out the Sonic Wave. Doppelganger evasion there from Denny. Weeha will jump forward. He really wants Denny dead, but he can't finish the job. He's going to get stunned up. They're giving so much back here, Secret, but they're also taking so much away from Navi. Envy hasn't healed up just yet. He doesn't have that heart to regenerate up, so Puppey will just give him the cheese. And they'll come back in, try and finish this themselves. At least Senego can get himself a gem back. But the creeps are just so big. Defending it so difficult, especially when they keep poking in. And then Vorse, the Abyssal Blade. Can they get the die back? Mana Void still on cooldown, but he still gets the last swing of the blades. Blinding Light's going to make it difficult for Denny to kill a Puppey. Remember, that's the Aegis Immortal, and they're just going for the GG. They've had enough of this. The BKB from Envy, and that will be the game, but not before he picks up a kill on PSM. Team Secret take it out 2-0, and will advance themselves through into the semifinals to go up against Alliance, bringing only 4 teams left in WCA. The stream will be back again tomorrow, same time, same channel. It's the place to be if you're wondering what you're actually going to see. Well, I can show you that right now. The bracket will be up here. So it will be Virtus Pro versus Ninjas in Pajamas, and the Alliance going up against Team Secret. WCA wrapping up closer to the end of this week. It's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast. If you haven't enjoyed these games, then, well, you don't enjoy Dota. But, well, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the show. For now, remember, there's more Dota 2 content coming out. The Join Dota stream is running absolutely non-stop for these couple of days. The defense is live right now, so go and check that out. People will be very happy to post the Twitch link inside the chat, or you can just go to joindota.com, find everything there. And, of course, check out the WCA website. You had it just below the screen just then. I don't know if I can, there was below before. Check that out. You can find all the details for WCA across multiple game types. Of course, we are covering the Join Dota part of it, the EU qualifier part. Hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you tomorrow.